What's up, Taiwan? I'm Jaime Ocon with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. An orange heat alert has been issued in parts of Taiwan as temperatures soar as high as 38 degrees Celsius. Our reporter Sandy Chi spoke to people in Taipei dealing with the sweltering heat.
Water trucks are dispatched to parts of Taiwan to cool the streets as the scorching summer heat continues to bake the country. The heat is caused by Pacific subtropical highs and climate change. But the sweltering temperatures did not stop people from going about their usual weekend activities.
很热，超热。
就真的很热，全身都是汗啊。
为什么还想出来？这种天气。
因为带小孩子来拜拜。
Taiwan's Central Weather Administration issued orange heat alerts for Yunlin, Pingtung, and Tainan in the country's south, indicating highs of 38 degrees Celsius. While up north, Taipei and the surrounding area was warned of temperatures soaring above 36 degrees. This is the first time this year officials issued a heat warning for Taipei. Different from other parts of the country, most of the capital rests in the Taipei Basin, where the concave terrain traps the heat for longer. Alone in Taipei Sud's neighborhood, the temperature reached over 38 degrees Celsius.
I've been walking around the Taipei for just a few minutes and I'm already drenched in my sweat. And even though people are still out in the heat, and you can see them dashing to shades and shelter to avoid the sun.
Other than cooling down the streets, 10 government departments have activated response measures and are reminding the public to take protective measures. If someone experiences signs of heat-related illness, like dizziness and mild nausea, they should immediately seek medical assistance.
我们是建议民众可以尽可能待在通风良好或者是有空调的室内，同时我们也建议民众可以减少户外的活动跟劳动。那如果有外出的话，则要做好防晒的措施。
According to the government, this heat wave is expected to continue until early afternoon on Sunday. But that reprieve may be short-lived, with higher temperatures forecast after Thursday, as the Pacific subtropical high strengthens. Justin Wu and Sandy Chi for TaiwanPlus.
The Navy is set to return to Taiwan-controlled Pratas Island in the South China Sea to set up more communication systems. Roughly 500 Marines are now stationed on the disputed island, and the Defense Ministry says it will send the troops more advanced radar systems and drones to monitor Chinese military activity there. The Chinese fighter jets and warships frequently operate in this area, and some analysts say that the arriving equipment might bring better intel.
如果我们上面有更为先进的征收装备的话，或许可以去对于他们飞过来的机种，甚至是他们在进行什么样的操演，甚至是有没有可能借此去拦截或截听他们的一个通讯的讯号，对我们的一个情研来讲有更进一步的作用。
Now, Taiwan's military is looking to invest more in its domestic defense industry. That's as the country gets ready to pass its defense budget for 2025 this August. For more on why Taiwan is driving up spending on these projects, I spoke to Raymond Guo, a security analyst from the Rand Corporation. So Raymond, we're starting to hear some updates about what Taiwan's defense budget could look like. And a big part of it looks like it's going to go into the domestic defense industry. How important is that for Taiwan?
First off, let's talk about indigenous production. Taiwan has just released its indigenously developed diesel submarine. They announced that I think they're building. I think they've already hit 5,000 military-grade drones as of this year. Also, I think 200 to 400 anti-ship missiles every year, and they just did the anti-air missile as well. So I think part of this issue is that the U.S. is kind of stretched, right? Its defense industrial base hasn't really been funded effectively for the last, let's say, 20, 30 years. And so this is, as a result of that, the U.S. is slowly getting to a position where it's reinvigorating its defense industrial base. Until that time, other countries are going to take up the slack. And so I think this is what Taiwan is doing. Indigenous production, getting the supplies from abroad where it can, but really doing things in-house, because ultimately, if there is, say, a blockade, or quarantine, they're going to have to make those things on the island itself.
Now, there are rumors of this new hybrid tank, armored vehicle kind of hybrid with a new weapon, a new cannon that's going to be on top of it. I wanted to get your thoughts on, is this a smart investment for Taiwan and looking at its defense? Are these kind of systems going to be effective?
It's not terrible, right? I think the question you have is, if it gets onto a beach, that might be a problem, right? If it's during the rainy season, okay, then wheeled vehicles are not great at that kind of thing. You really want tracked vehicles for that. But given that, say, on the western coast of Taiwan, we're really talking about fairly urban areas. It can move faster, right? But I think the issue is, it's great to have the hardware, but is the software actually set up? So, for example, as these vehicles are coming down the road, are there, say, police officers who can just kind of clear the road so they can actually go through? That is, I think, the next critical question. So, I think in terms of, rapid mobile deployment, these are not bad, especially if they're kind of stationed in different parts of the island so they can deploy more closely. But then, is there some sort of military, civilian, or military police link up such that these things can have priority of access, for example, to get to where they need to go?
That was Raymond Guo, security analyst from the RAND Corporation. A U.S. aircraft carrier has arrived in South Korea ahead of large-scale military exercises later this month. The USS Theodore Roosevelt docked in the southern port city of Busan, carrying dozens of advanced fighter jets. The U.S., South Korea, and Japan will be conducting joint military exercises known as Freedom Edge, which aim to deter threats from North Korea. These exercises were first announced earlier this month at the Shangri-La Dialogue. It comes as these three countries look to boost their security cooperation. Germany's economy minister says the European Union is open for discussion on planned tariffs on Chinese-made electric vehicles. He made the comment while in Shanghai. Robert Habeck is the first senior European official to visit China since the bloc announced the tariff proposal. The EU says Beijing's large subsidies for Chinese carmakers give them an unfair advantage over European competitors. The two sides have agreed to start talks on the tariffs. Habeck told Chinese officials there's time for dialogue, but that there needs to be a level playing field in EV markets. During his three-day visit, Habeck is expected to try to reduce the risk of retaliation by Beijing on German carmakers, who rely on China for almost one-third of their annual sales. Israel and Lebanese militant group Hezbollah have started to exchange cross-border fire as fears of wider regional conflict in the Middle East ramp up. 2 Hezbollah missiles struck the northern Israeli town of Metula on Saturday. The strike sparked fires, but no injuries were reported. The Israeli military says it fired back at Hezbollah targets in southern Lebanon. It comes after Israel revealed it approved plans for an offensive in Lebanon, prompting UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres to warn against letting the clashes turn into another Gaza. Israel and Hezbollah have been trading near daily strikes for more than 8 months since the outbreak of war between Hamas and Israel on October 7. People in the southern city of Kaohsiung are complaining about a terrible stench as thousands of dead fish turn up in an urban waterway. Local officials say they likely died due to wastewater discharge, low oxygen and water levels, and excessive heat. The city government confirmed that a nearby food processing factory had been illegally releasing its runoff into the river. To prevent future fish die-offs, Kaohsiung says it will send staff out on the weekends to ramp up wastewater inspections. A team of scientists at National Donghua University are helping create artificial reefs using non-biodegradable plastics and other seabed debris. Irene Lin looks at how their efforts could help restore the marine ecosystem.
With trash bags and tongs in hand, these people are carrying out a special ocean cleaning operation. They're gathering materials for a larger project to restore the habitat for local sea life. The group from Taiwan's National Donghua University has scooped up more than 420 kilograms of garbage from the ocean seafloor.
只要是捡拾海里面有危害生态的一些相关的一些海废，好像是保特瓶啊、渔网啊、轮胎。我们觉得比较特别的是这渔网其实蛮多的那像是我们有发现到说有很多的这些热带鱼类都被渔网给卡住了。
With their new technology, these scientists are using a high-temperature gasifying process to turn marine waste into a charcoal-like material called biochar. When made into artificial reefs, they say its properties make it a perfect home for marine life and offer additional benefits for the environment.
生物炭它以往就是20年到50年之间，又慢慢会释放出碳到空气里面。 好，那所以我们后来想了一个方法，如果我们可以把这些生物炭 把它固着在我们目前所开发的像是这个人工鱼礁里面的话，我们就可以把碳给封存到这个海床底下。
Biochar is known for its ability to absorb net carbon in the environment, and it has had other applications on land, such as improving soil quality in farmlands. Though human activity continues to produce pollution and endanger the environment, the team at Donghua University is a small example of how scientists here and around the world are finding ever more creative ways to protect local ecosystems. Eason Chen and Irene Lin for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan won its first Olympic medal in badminton at the Tokyo Games in 2021. The men's double team that took gold were breakout stars. Now they're looking to do it again in Paris this summer. Leslie Liao has more.
Taiwan's first ever Olympic medal in badminton was won by these two, Wang Qilin and Li Yang. The cherry on top, it was a gold. Wang and Li rose from relative obscurity and climbed all the way to the top of the Olympic podium in the men's doubles at the Tokyo Games in 2021. The two are junior high school classmates and have a chemistry that reflects their history.
没有打架，我打不赢。但是我也尽量不跟他吵，因为我也吵不赢。
Wang and Li had a breakout performance in Japan. Though they entered the Tokyo Games unseeded, their path to victory was paved with upsets. On their way to gold, the pairs ranked first, second, and fourth in the world at the time all fell to the duo. Then, in the final round, they beat former world champions Li Junhui and Liu Yuchen of China. The Chinese pair challenged the final point of the gold medal match, which was ruled in Wang and Li's favor. The ruling resulted in this iconic image, marking where their shot landed. It was printed on merchandise including face masks and t-shirts, becoming a cultural phenomenon back home in Taiwan. Wang and Li's win wasn't just historic for Taiwan, it set an Olympic precedent. The pair became the first ever unseeded men's doubles team to go all the way at the Games. Overnight, Wang and Li became the team to beat, and their competitors started to train specifically to beat them. After Tokyo, Li and Wang would not win another title for 2 years. This put a strain on their relationship as they struggled to work through that slump.
奥运过后，毕竟我们也经历了一大段低潮，那中间过程也当然经历了很多次争吵吧。毕竟彼此对羽球的价值观跟羽球的态度也一直拿出来去做讨论，然后跟场上的一些搭配轮转默契也一直在去做磨合。那很高兴在去年的日本终于突破这个僵局，拿到冠军。
Now they're geared up and ready to go into Olympic action in Paris. They acknowledge it's a tough road back to the Games, but they're determined to make the best of it.
说没有压力是骗人的，但谁站上场上都是代表自己的国家，希望为自己国家夺下一面牌。所以我觉得每个人都有压力，只是怎么去克服而已。
Whatever happens, Wang and Li are aware that Paris will be their last Olympics as doubles partners. Li has announced he'll retire at the end of this year.
就是时候到了，该给年轻人一些机会。我觉得也29岁也打得蛮好，也比原本18岁可能那时候打不上来要退役的时候，我觉得也多打了11年。
Li's decision is tough for his partner, but Wang says he accepts it.
配了这么久，当然还是会觉得舍不得吧。毕竟一起奋斗这么，从2019年一直打到现在。
No matter how Li and Wang do in Paris, they've made their mark on Taiwanese and Olympic history. Li's impending retirement marks a somewhat sudden end to their story, but it was an extraordinary moment in Taiwan's sporting history, one they're looking to repeat in Paris. Justin Wu and Leslie Liao in Kaohsiung for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, we leave you with drone footage from the Lotus Pond in Kaohsiung. I'm Jaime Ocon. Take care, and we'll see you next time.